Hey, Michael and Middleton here. I'm just showing the cover here to hopefully get enough of it to appear as a thumbnail on the video. This is a book I've been thinking about sharing on here in this way for a while, but, well, it's going to be a lot of work, so I'd put it off. The Great Deep. This is a story that literally, to make a long story short, this is something literally I woke up one morning with the title and the whole general storyline in my head. I have a hard time putting things down once I start it, and never wanted to start writing a novel at that time, but I thought, oh shoot, this is too good to not do. So I'm going to start going through kind of serializing this and reading through kind of an audiobook but video format style of this to share with y'all and pass around. I'm going to start today with the back cover. If you want to go back and pause and read that yourself, that's fine, but the back cover is a little bit of introduction and chapter 1, which is really short. So that's my boy on the front cover of Micah, who's about to turn 22. I'm going to read the back cover, which just kind of gives you an overview of the whole novel to start with. The Great Deep, a novel. The summer of his 12th year, William Thornton is forced to relocate for the first time in his life. Deeply bitter over this, he withdraws into a world of boredom, resentment, and self-pity. However, strange happenings soon lead him towards a life-changing encounter with the Ankara, a sentient race of beings originally created as companions for man. Tormented instead as man's burden of sin spread throughout all of creation, they have withdrawn to the deep places of the earth, there to await the great day. Through his interactions with this secret society, William comes face to face with the terrifying light of full revelation, and is forever changed. In this visionary piece of literature, we find a story that is both masterfully crafted and highly entertaining. The Great Deep is a must-read for the adventurous, for the seeker, for the young at heart. Forgive me if this shifts around a little bit here. I open it with kind of a setting the tone sort of poem. I write a lot of poetry for anybody that hasn't seen much of my stuff before, and I try to incorporate it into most of my other types of writings, which is a wide variety of genres that still incorporate relative poetry. This one's called At End of Day, and originally appeared in my book Sacred Journeys. Still I lie in cool grass, soft and green, bathed in golden rays at end of day, tranquil, content, hedged by hands unseen. Okay, Chapter 1. Evening has come. William Thornton rises from his all-too-comfortable chair with a slight groan and turns off the television. Oh, the news is depressing as ever, he mutters as he switches off the set. There's got to be something good going on somewhere, but you'd never know it. It seems to me that everyone thinks the only good news is bad news. He chuckles to himself. Turning to the far corner of the room, he asks, "Isn't that right, Zeke?" The yellow and green parrot perks up and replies, "You know it. Right on." William chuckles and stands to his full height. Placing the palms of both hands firmly against his lower back, he entertains a satisfying stretch, accompanied by a chorus of, "Oh, oh, oh, that feels good." Stretching one stiff ankle, he grimaces over the number of cracks that it makes. "These poor old bones," he muses. Zeke chatters, "Silly old man, silly old man." William chuckles again and then lets out a small sigh, clears his throat, and walks to the kitchen. A slight squeak announces the opening of the cupboard door, and out of nowhere a silver-gray cat appears. "Well, good evening, Lucinda," he says in a bright, cordial tone. "I see your ears are as sharp as ever. I never knew any cat that could hear a cupboard squeak from as far away as you. Yep, practically psychic. Darn near a miracle." Stiff fingers caress the cat's luxuriant form, as she eagerly purrs in anticipation of dinner. Oh, you old motorboat, William chides. Pulling open a drawer, he removes a can opener and opens a can of grilled tuna dinner. Leaving the can opener on the counter, he places the open can on the floor next to the front door. Now be a good girl and eat all of your dinner. If you want dessert, he quips, feigning castigation. Dessert always consisted of the same thing, a maraschino cherry. William doesn't remember how he had discovered that she liked them, but Lucinda relishes them above any other treat. This gray cat has one serious sweet tooth. William straightens up, twists the pewter-colored doorknob, and pushes open the heavy wooden plank door. He steps out onto the covered patio, which faces the long driveway leading out to Interstate 17. Leaning against the heavy wooden beam handrail, he soaks in the fading embers of a spectacular sunset. Hues of pumpkin and rose inflame the lower portions of a few feathery clouds as they chase the rapidly fading twilight. He draws in a long, full breath of the warm evening air, perfumed by honeysuckle and lilac, and says, beautiful job, Lord." The crickets and the bullfrogs are well into their nightly songs as he steps back and settles into a willow chair. It creaks and chatters a bit, but is still just as solid as the day that he built it some 15 years ago. Gazing out towards the growing darkness, his eye catches a distant blue-white flicker. A few seconds later, other flashes follow, some on the lawn, a few from the trees, and still others dance in midair. "Fireflies," he says, "first ones I've seen this year." He grins to himself and shifts his weight to one side. Reaching into his pocket, he withdraws a small drawstring pouch. He pinches open the mouth and carefully pours a few pebbles into his hand. He selects one specific pebble, which looks like a small bead of crystal clear glass, and returns the others to the bag. "I'll show you some shine." As he pinches the tiny glistening stone between his thumb and index finger, it erupts with a blinding, brilliant light, a living, liquid light far brighter and far wider than anything known to man could produce. It blazes in a light so brilliant and so fluid that it leaves no shadow, but envelops all in its path. Bathed in this brilliance, the haggard old man becomes swallowed up in the memories of youth. The aches and pains of age dissolve as the ageless, timeless spirit within transports him to another time and place. And that begins the flashback segment, which leads into the next chapter. This is a revised edition. I did have a first edition of this book that after 2 or 3 years of it being out, I did some obviously revising to create a revised edition. The other is still technically on my bibliography. However, this is the one that I have out and available now. For those who aren't familiar with this, all sales of all of my books, and my wife's as well, she has a couple of books out, 100% benefits the ministry that we serve with. Youth with the Mission Faith Harvest Helpers in Olympia, Washington. So my tagline I like to leave with is get a good read and do a good deed, because 100% of the proceeds from the sale of any of the books goes directly to the ministry. It doesn't even come through me. I have it set up to pay directly to the ministry. Again, that's Faith Harvest Helpers, which is the ministry of Youth with a Mission. And so the address for that, and I'll put it in the comments if I can remember to do so, is to find all the books is Amazon.com /author, AUTHOR /MMM, my initials. So there's, I believe, 20 books there at present. You can look them all up, peruse them. Lots of different topics, even some children's books, one Spanish translation, practical theology books, picture books, just all kinds of stuff to look at. So I'll leave you with that for now for this first video. I will be posting additional chapters, as I have time and able to. Hope you're blessed by this, and consider taking a look at my listings on Amazon and get some to have in your own hands. Blessings. Bye.